Welcome to Geeking Out with Matt Serra. It's so awkward talking to the camera. I'm not going to do that in the future episodes.
Why not?
This is the pilot episode of this podcast.
And you were doing so great. Why'd you stop yourself?
No, this is a new venture for me, as you see with my transformer mic that's always fucking up. This is good, though. We keep this all in. Phoenix, first of all, I'm here with the great Phoenix Carnavale. Phoenix, say hello. Phoenix, say hello as I fix my microphone.
Hi, everybody.
I want to know what it is. We're going to have this down so polished in the future that they're going to go back to this first episode and they're going to go, look at the pilot episode. The mic was like, Phoenix, as you know, I'm not new to podcasting.
Not at all.
I did over 800 episodes of a show called UFC Unfiltered. I still do weekly with the great Jim Norton. I call him my little Jimmy Bird. We have a good time. It's usually 90% MMA, UFC, big fights coming up, okay? Everything related to that fight is coming on. We have other guests on too, you know. We talk some pop culture, some fun stuff with that. We have a Matt's Movie Minute.
Which is usually 7 minutes, but yeah.
It's a lot of minutes.
14 minutes if I'm on the show.
It's not really a minute. It's a long time. You know, and sometimes I torture Jimmy with my geek talk, okay?
You just going limp over there, Matt.
I love it.
You're just going limp.
I love it. So look, man, some of the most fun times I've had on that show is when I'm just geeking out about shit. I torture Jimmy because he makes fun of me. I bring up Star Wars. He says his favorite thing is the Christmas special. So, you know, he brings up the Ewoks. Hey, Jimmy could be a bully, but you, my friend, Phoenix, we're going to go over our origin story in a second, but you are a comic book nerd.
I am.
You know, the second and you're also a frequent co-host on
UFC Unfiltered.
So where's the fucking producer? Oh, get a widescreen for a second. Listen, anybody who does podcasting, look at this guy.
Oh, wow. Look at that. I'm literally holding the microphone up, too.
Christian Harloff.
I mean, works hard. Man works hard.
And Christian's going to be my co-pilot on this thing a bunch of times, too. All right? This is going to be fun. This is going to be a good time, this podcast. So this is going to be about all this stuff I love unrelated to MMA. You want MMA, you watch UFC Unfiltered, you people. But this is going to be my little island of misfit toys. This is going to be me talking about the stuff I love that you wouldn't think a normal fighter likes. I'm a comic book nerd. I grew up on the X-Men. I love all that kind of shit. I love Star Wars, not the Acolyte. I don't love the Acolyte. We'll save that for another episode.
Yeah, because we could go in on that.
That was hot trash.
Got canceled.
But it got canceled, which is a celebration. Oh my goodness, that made me so happy. Maybe they're gonna write the ship, kind of like what Deadpool and Wolverine did for the.
They're gonna have to. It's an example of trying too hard, but we could talk about that later.
Well, what we're gonna talk about in today's episode, just to get the theme of what's going on around here, is we're gonna do the X-Men franchise best to worst.
I got that. Yeah.
Best to worst.
Best to worst.
There's a lot of movies in there.
Yeah.
You're gonna read them off in a second or two.
Sure.
Okay. But that's what we're gonna do. But before we get into that, I met you. I'm going to say 2006 or 7.
You met me the same year that you became UFC welterweight champion.
Wow, you don't got to bring that up for the people at home.
We do. We have to bring that up.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So that whatever you was that 2006 or 2007? When did you win the championship?
Were you just saying I was champion of the world?
You were. You beat George St. Pierre in the most stunning upset in UFC history.
What?
And became the UFC welterweight champion.
I know all this.
What year was that?
That was 2007. 2007. The same year I got married to my wife.
So we have been friends since 2007.
Yes. So Phoenix is an MMA reporter, and a lot of MMA reporters, they could be annoying or airheads, or they're just geeks. Phoenix, when she goes, "Oh hi, I'm Phoenix Carnavale," I believe one of the first things I said when I heard Phoenix, I go, "Oh, like the X-Men."
Yeah.
And then she started just shooting out X-Men lines and cannonball specials and everything. I'm like, wow. I go, what?
Yeah.
So,
The story was you had won. I was doing an interview with you, and I introduced myself as Phoenix, and you're like, "Oh, if you're Phoenix, I'm Wolverine." I go, "Well, you are the right height." And then you were like so impressed that I knew Wolverine's real height. You were like, "Did we just become best friends?"
It was like a scene out of Step Brothers.
Right, exactly. And then we geeked out about comics and Star Wars, and ever since.
You know, I always say I wanted Wolverine 5'3", and then in the Deadpool and Wolverine, he jumps
And you
off
saw
the
it, you were
stool.
like, it doesn't work. It doesn't
it could work, but maybe not 5'3".
Yeah.
Before we get into the X-Men franchise, Christian, poor Christian just got off a fucking plane. Are you going to be holding this thing up? I feel bad.
Don't tell anybody. It's a magic trick. I'm like,
Go to the white
plane.
plane.
Don't do the plane right now. You can't even tell. You can't even tell.
Okay.
You can't even tell. So you just show them the tricks.
Just like Deadpool, I like to break down the fourth wall.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
I was expecting a good movie. I'm gonna say it was with the cameos and everything.
Yes.
Spoilers, by the way. You should have seen this already. If you didn't see it, you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
I'm glad I seen it when it first came out.
Me too.
Before
I
shit
had
hit
to
YouTube
because I knew that the internet was going to make me
Yeah.
so mad, and I didn't want to,
It was everything I wanted. It was awesome. It was great. You know what? Well, let's start at the beginning. I enjoyed. I think the comedy works. Sometimes comedy doesn't work. Ryan Reynolds, talking about being perfect for a role. I mean, it's like he is Deadpool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Even if Van Wilder, he's kind of Deadpool.
Yeah.
He's
And I've liked him since then.
Exactly. I thought I loved the opening scene to In Sync, I believe.
Yep.
You know, it was great. And I like when he's like, Wolverine, his healing factor, they're thinking he's dead. And all of a sudden, sure enough, he's fucking
He is actually dead. Yeah, the timing, the comic timing. I think it works because Ryan Reynolds is one of us.
Yes.
And what I mean
feels
by
like that.
what I mean by one of us is like he likes the 80s and 90s movies, the same ones that we like. He's a pop culture geek himself. He wanted Marvel to get it right, so he worked on making sure he got it right. They probably listened to all the stuff that we complain about to try to get it right. Do I think the story was a little like, what, huh? What? The TVA and then the what? And then the anchor beings, like what? But then at some point I was like, I don't even care. I don't care. I'm just having fun.
I think
and this is good.
I think nobody's really thrown off by the whole multiverse thing by now. Even if you didn't see any of these other things. I didn't see the second season of Loki too much. But I wasn't lost.
Yeah.
I kind of knew what was going on.
No.
You know, I did know what was going on. All right. They need a Wolverine to help save the day. I love this. I sum it up. I love when they went through all the different variants. Now that brought me through my
that
childhood.
was great.
When they went for first of all, what a great series was The Age of Apocalypse. Did you ever read that?
Yes, I did.
When
I didn't
Wolverine
like
with
the
the one claw-
film, but we'll get to that. But
Christian producer. Did you ever see The Age of Apocalypse? Did you ever read that comic book?
The Age of Apocalypse. John Schnepp. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah,
late,
I
great
remember
John
The big
Schnepp.
sweaty? The big,
Yeah, the late great.
I was
John
a fan,
Schnepp.
yeah.
He was the
Yeah.
best. He got me acclimated with it.
Right.
I learned because of that, because the movie was coming out, and he told me about all that. So yes, I was very familiar with it.
Yeah, like Apocalypse is
Came out in
to
the
the
90s,
X-Men what Thanos is to the Avengers. Like
Very
that's
good.
the level of
Yes.
villain that he's supposed to be.
But the Age of Apocalypse was like a multiverse thing back then. It was an alternate universe for the am I saying it right? The Age of Apocalypse?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was such a great take on it. And so when I seen in the variants, you had the Wolverine from that with the one claw and he was really feral. And that was so cool. I loved seeing all the different, even from Patch to everyone else. And who hit it out of the park, who I think should be brought back.
Oh, I know
I
what
don't
you're gonna
care how
say.
tall he is. The Calvarine, man. The fucking Calvarine, Christian.
That was great.
Didn't he? First of all, I like
He
when he's
looked
like,
great.
and even Deadpool, even
It's like we'll
he's saying,
treat you better than they do over there.
Oh, that
He
was
cocked
great.
his fist again, like Mission Impossible.
I noticed
He
that.
did.
I
He did.
noticed that. You know what's funny? He improvised that for
Yeah.
the Mission
Yeah.
Impossible thing. Yeah, I enjoyed him. I thought he nailed it. And he looked great.
Yeah, and there were so many things that were taken from the comics
Yeah.
that I had like comic PTSD for a second because I was remembering the covers and the variations of the covers, like when he was like crucified. And then
Yeah.
that like purple forest thing, that was so cool. And then seeing the brown costume when he fights the Hulk, because that was Wolverine 1. The
Yeah.
first time Wolverine showed
Oh.
up, it was in a Hulk comic.
The
So I
cover.
thought that was cool. Yeah.
The cover is Wolverine with the reflection of Hulk in his claws.
Yeah,
So they do a lot of
just letting us fans have those ultimate geeked out moments, and that was really cool.
Isn't it funny how Ryan Reynolds, you see different things on YouTube about him with this role of Deadpool, how when he first got offered for it, offered it for Wolverine. Not was it Wolverine?
Yeah,
X-Men
Wolverine Origins. Wolverine
X-Men,
Origins.
Wolverine Origins. X-Men.
No, it's just Wolverine Origins.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's a rough one.
I know.
That's a rough one.
I know.
But Deadpool. In the beginning, in the scene in the elevator when he's talking and stuff, it's kind of like now, you know, a little bit, and then they take away the work with the mouth. They sew up his mouth.
That
and
was the stupidest thing ever.
But he said that if he didn't take that role, he wasn't crazy about that at all back then. If he didn't take it, they were just going to cast someone else. So he didn't. He like really like.
He's like, I need to be Deadpool.
Yeah,
like I know that's my thing, and I have a lot of respect for that. Yeah.
And now you can't see anybody else in that role ever.
No.
Kind of like Iron Man with Tony Stark. You know.
Yeah.
But so after I loved the Calverine. I think that a lot of people did. I don't think anybody would be upset if there was a thing where they brought him back. You know.
No. I just don't. Could he be Wolverine? Could he have that bub and the gruff and the sarcasm and could he do it? That's the whole thing. Would he be able to do that?
In that 6-second scene, he
nailed it. Yeah.
What did he say? You were just leaving type of thing? Yeah.
Something like that.
But it came across great. I'm like, oh, this is fucking out of the park. The cameos in it. Oh. I was so pleased to see Wesley Snipes as Blade.
I wasn't expecting that. I flipped out.
I don't think anybody expected.
The whole theater flipped out.
How did they keep that quiet?
Yeah.
How did they keep that quiet nowadays? You thought you would have saw something on
especially with the rumors about Ryan Reynolds and Wesley Snipes hating each other.
I never even heard that.
They like hated each other. Wesley was supposedly very difficult, but it's freaking 15, 20 years ago. I'm sure it's like, listen, it's over now, and this is a very nice paycheck for me. Let's shake hands and see you on set. You know,
they were in the worst Blade movie. I love the first two Blades.
Yeah,
the third one
was bad.
I didn't hate it, but I was.
Well, there's many times where the third film is the worst film, and I would say in the X-Men franchise, the third film is also the worst film.
Look at you. You gave a little preview to what we're.
Yes,
we're going to talk about that in a second. I can't wait. I can't wait. No, listen, The Last Stand. Holy fuck.
Oh.
Well, we're going to dive into that. But Deadpool, I love a Gambit. What about? Come on, man. And
Great.
First of all. I loved him as Gambit, and
so did I.
What's nice? He's similar to Ryan Reynolds.
Yep.
He seems like he really is.
He did. He wanted it. It got shelved.
Yeah.
It was supposed to happen. It never happened. They made all these great comments about that. When you watch the behind the scenes, how much of the movement prep and the weapon work he actually did. If that makes me respect an actor so much. I mean, side note, but when you think about Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor and all the sword work that they did for Star Wars, like you were embodying a role when you can do as much of the physicality as possible. Just to see him be Gambit also physically, it was like Channing Tatum.
And he's he said even like he played up the accent more,
sure,
so he could have fun with it.
Yeah.
And just alone the chemistry with it reminded you of a superhero buddy cop movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
With Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds.
Well, the funny thing is they were going to do that as a joke. Do you know this backstory?
No.
They were going to do like a fake movie about two buddy cops that were sharing the same brain, and then 10 minutes in, it would turn into Deadpool and Wolverine just to freak out the audience. Oh. So people who went to go see this garbage movie would also be like, oh my God, I'm actually in Deadpool and Wolverine. And that was the original idea. And then they scratched it and they just did Deadpool and Wolverine. Because after a minute, somebody
What kind of advertising would they do for that?
They were just trying to fake people out and do something weird and creative. But,
I think now that they made billions of dollars.
They made a much better choice.
We made the right choice.
Much better choice.
That's hysterical. No, but yeah, with the cameos, even Jennifer Garner as Elektra.
Yes, and I hated those freaking movies. Like
there was only one, no?
Yes, but I didn't even like Daredevil. And
Daredevil.
I like Affleck. It's not his fault.
I didn't hate that movie. I hated it. I think he could have been in better shape. How about this? I like certain I like the way they did him. They did the
costumes better.
Story. I like what he's seen his father collecting money.
Right.
I thought that worked. I thought it was cool. I thought the way he's seen the radar was cool.
Right.
And I didn't hate Ben Affleck in the leather thing. I didn't.
No, the
The
costume
joke
was
about
good.
Affleck was great with Jennifer Garner when she
Yeah.
did that.
Fantastic. It was out of the park.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
And
they
she did really well. I thought she looked great and she did great. But the first Elektra, that's my character. I love her.
Yeah.
So when I saw Elektra in the movies years ago, I was so disappointed. I'm like, oh man, they didn't do it justice. And I didn't think it was Jennifer Garner's fault, but you did want somebody who looked like Greek and just to embody the character a little bit more. But I just
Let me ask you about that. Did you like the girl that played Elektra in the series?
no,
Oh no, but she was more Greek looking.
I guess, but like. I don't know, maybe because I'm muscular. I'm like, you want a chick that looks like she could, mess some shit up. And
I get it. Listen, it's like me with the Wolverine. You know what I mean?
oh,
he's
because
supposed to be-
you're upset about the height situation.
Well,
but, I mean, it's Hugh
a guy being
Jackman.
5'6", there's not many heroes you go up to.
But it's Hugh Jackman.
I try to be one of them.
But it's Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman's great though. Hey, this is what I'll say worked.
Sorry, everybody.
This is what this is what I'll say worked that I never thought that is very hard to make work.
Right.
Is when he and first of all, what an audience reaction when he puts on the what do you call it? Scowl? What do you call that shit?
Cowl?
Cowl?
It's called a mask.
Oh, mask. Why'd you have to say it like Batman?
No. Not only did he say it like that, the only thing he left out was it's called a mask, numbnuts. He didn't say numbnuts because he knows he's coming down to my academy next week.
you heard it. You heard it. It's the underlining numbnuts.
Saying that, he would have called them nut. No, I'm only kidding, Christian. Christian, you're okay with it. But yeah, it's called the fucking mask. But they do call it something else. But whatever.
Right.
When he put that fucking mask on, it was a fucking pop.
I know.
It was wow, and it looked cool. How did they make that look cool?
I
How
gotta
does that
say,
happen?
you see it with the right audience, right? And it just makes it a roller coaster ride.
Oh, yeah.
And I had the best audience. The two greatest audience I ever had was for Deadpool and for the Spider-Man with the three of them.
No Way Home?
No Way Home.
Yep.
I had the best audience ever for that.
I'm going to tell you my age if I tell you an audience. Where
Say it.
you guys are going to make fun of me. I just turned 50. But
That's-
I have abs.
Congratulations.
I have abs.
You have
if
abs
you weren't
at
here, there's a
50.
woman, I would show him my abs right now. Listen, one of my best, and it fits with this, one of my best memories is the 1989 Batman movie with Michael Keaton. It was the same night as my junior high, and I know it's called middle school now. My kids make fun of me because I call it junior. How about this? It said junior high on the junior high,
Yeah.
but it was my graduation that night.
Oh, wow.
I skipped it. They literally had a fucking beach ball going around in the theater.
Yeah.
Nerds. If this was the first time they made a real movie, like this was an Adams West Batman.
No, I get it.
This Batman had the blocking the samurai swords and the front kick.
Listen, it still holds
Oh,
up. You
it
watch
was
it now.
fun.
Yeah, it's a little cheese,
was
but it still holds up.
serious.
Yes,
You
I love
know,
it.
Vicky Vale, Prince. Well,
Prince.
now I'm getting a little.
No,
I don't know if that holds up.
we can talk
I
about
don't know
that
that-
movie for like an hour,
I don't know if
but
that shit holds up with Prince.
it
and the
no,
fucking-
that doesn't hold up. But
something about the 80s, they had to put a fucking
synthesized.
You have to do a music video
gotta
in the fucking thing. You know, I've got the song, but they're all painting shit in the
That's so
fucking
true.
thing. You know what the fucks?
The whole soundtrack was Prince. The
whole soundtrack.
I love those 80s movies where I was just watching Vision Quest the other day.
Oh, so good.
And, I was watching, in the opening scene is that Journey song, Only the Young.
Mm-hmm.
And it's him jogging in his sweatsuit to his work at the hotel. But it's the whole fucking song. I mean, that's a long song. I
No,
love the
there
song.
is a music montage in most 80s movis.
That movie, Vision Quest. Oh my God, what a great movie.
But we got to get back on track because we only
Oh,
have.
okay, let's get back. All right, listen, that's why I need you guys. Let's just, get the ship a little.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to Deadpool and Wolverine because we still got to talk about the X-Men.
Right.
Time flies.
Right.
We're having fun.
But I think there was a reason why you brought up Deadpool and Wolverine first.
Yes.
I think
What is that reason?
Because I think it brought life back into our hope for the MCU, and I think we were really upset with them, and we were like, "What are you guys doing? You're ruining everything." We were doing that, and then Deadpool comes along, and we're like, "We have faith again. It's fine again." I think that's what's happening.
There's a joke in there about him calling himself the Marvel Jesus.
Marvel Jesus.
I think he is.
I think he is.
I'll call him that. He brought it back and he even made jokes about that.
Oh, for
There's
sure.
been nothing since Endgame. Think about the earlier movies. Very rarely. I wasn't crazy about the 2 Iron Man sequels. But Iron Man out of the park. Winter Soldier.
That was one of my favorites.
I'm getting off track again, but that
Civil War, Winter Soldier.
That next Captain America movie has that kind of feel to it. And a movie that and maybe we could watch in the future episode, maybe next episode, we could watch the preview of Thunderbolts. That's the one I'm looking forward to the most coming up.
It's probably going to be cool because we have no expectations, and that's usually the ones that knock it out. So
100%. All right, back to Deadpool and Wolverine. So I love the cameos. Where were we with that? Talk to me.
We were talking about cameos, and then we sidetracked. We talked about Gambit. Loved him.
Loved him.
But you guys are talking about Marvel Jesus. I think besides just Marvel Jesus, he could potentially be X-Men Jesus. Because to bring him back, and that's what everybody's been waiting for. Because the question is, what do they do past the multiverse?
It worries me a little bit.
It does?
I'll tell you why it worries me. The X-Men is so extensive that at one point I stopped reading it because I was like lost. I was like, I had so many stories, I can't figure it out.
All I read.
And one of the ways that some of the X-Men franchises failed me is they try to do too many things at once. And because each one of those characters, especially the original team, is freaking amazing. Like, so, oh my God, like, there's so many good characters. Colossus is a great character. Cyclops. Poor Cyclops has been shit on for every single movie, and he's a great character. Nightcrawler is a fucking great character. So if you just like gleam over it, put the team, and now we're in Secret Wars, and everybody's in it. It's too many characters for us to care. You know what I mean? And so they get underdeveloped. So are you going to do the original team? Are you going to do Charles finding them? Are you going to do them developing their skills? The Danger Room. There could be 20 minutes on the Danger Room, stuff in the Danger Room. Don't rush this, and don't put everybody in it right away. Let us care about them, or we're just going to wind up with just filler movies, and that's disappointing.
Hopefully they give X-Men their own their time. You know what I mean? Just not just here they appear. No, give them their own time.
Right. Like the comics, there was crossover, but you developed them well first.
Let's delve.
Delve.
Or dive.
Either one. Dive. We could delve deeper
into the X-Men franchise. Let's just read them off how they came out.
Okay. X1, X2, X3 The Last Stand, X-Men Origins Wolverine, X-Men First Class, The Wolverine, X-Men Days of Futures Past. We're including the Deadpool, X-Men Apocalypse, Logan, Deadpool 2,
No,
X-Men.
we're not including Deadpool.
Okay, get that out. X-Men Dark Phoenix, New Mutants, which I did not see. And then, that's it.
All right, well, listen. Let's, like in X-Men, like in Deadpool, let's fucking
go.
Do I got to do this every fucking time now, or can I bring this a little bit more this way? I'm sorry, you fucking Christian, right off a plane, right off a plane. He's got this fucking voice in his ear. I feel for you.
And he's got to hold that microphone all the time.
Dude, you do this for a living, and if you don't listen, if you're new to this, you got to check out The Big Thing, because that's where. Did our last episode?
Yeah, man, it's on.
It's on.
Yeah, it's on. Went on Wednesday.
I gotta give me a clip. I want to promote that, please.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, let's talk.
Okay.
You dive right in. Your favorite. Let's talk best.
My favorite
to
out of
worst.
all the lists.
The X-Men franchise.
You want to start with the favorite?
Well, you know what? I thought we were doing best to worst. We could do worst to best.
I'm going to lead up to it. Well,
We do want to lead up to it. We do want to lead up to it.
You're right.
So worst to best. Who came up with this whole
What's the
fucking
worst?
best? Who came up with this whole best to worst thing?
What's the biggest shit bomb out there?
Yeah. All right.
The worst? Do you
All right, now
want me to go first?
I want you to go first.
I see, like,
Go ahead. Take your time.
I feel like I hate Apocalypse the most.
That's amazing to me, but go ahead.
But it's between Apocalypse and Last Stand.
Okay.
But I think because of recency bias, I really hated Apocalypse. I hated Storm being a villain. I just don't like what they've done with Storm from the get-go, even though I really like Halle Berry.
Yeah, but how'd she end up at the end?
But
She got up, right?
But I really did not like. And then I just found it was a waste of great actors sometimes.
All right. Now that's your worst. That's not my worst.
Yeah.
But touching on that one, I kind of like. I thought there's some scenes in the it's Apocalypse or Age of Apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
It is Apocalypse. I gotta get the name.
But
yeah. It's the comics Age of Apocalypse. I'm not way off. I'm just too much of a nerd. that opening scene in with the pyramids.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Yeah.
Oh, see, the thing about that one, I felt there's enough cool scenes in that it's like that.
Yeah,
that
Magneto
like,
gets a lot of love, which I like.
And what about Quicksilver? He's phenomenal in that when he's breaking them out.
Yes.
A prison.
That's not Apocalypse.
That's
no, there's
that's
two.
Days of Future Past.
Days
How
of
about
Future's
this?
Past is the prison one.
can I tell
Apocalypse
you-
is the one out
right.
of the school.
in
Yeah.
the last 2 days. I watched the last two, so I'm mixing.
Okay,
them up.
all right.
But you're right. But Quicksilver was still great.
Yes.
In the next one too.
He
He's great.
saves the
He's
kids
great.
from the school while it's
That's-
burning
yes,
through
yes,
the
yes.
fire. That the special effects for that are very, very incredible.
There's things in that where all of a sudden you run into. It's just weird how some guys pop up. All of a sudden, Nightcrawler's out of a box and he's fighting Angel in a cage. It's like, all right. I remember in the original when you meet Wolverine, that's kind of okay. I could see that in a Canadian bar making some money. Angel's always been a pretty boy. Angel's always been that kid that came from money. And
Yep.
what the fuck's happening here? I can understand if they found him and put him there, but it felt a little out of place.
Yep.
So I can understand your gripes.
Yeah,
with
it bothered me.
But I'm gonna say, let me get back to my
Worst one?
list. The worst one. Now, I'll tell you which I didn't like and I didn't connect with at all, and I thought was I didn't like The Last Stand, but the Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, it's low on the list for me too. Because they just keep messing up one of the greatest comic stories in comic book history.
I don't think I was about to say Jennifer Garner. What's the other girl? who's in
Jennifer
her-
Lawrence
Jennifer Lawrence. I don't think
as
she,
Mystique.
I don't think she won. I think she wanted to really turn into Mystique and get the fuck out of there.
That was a contract movie.
Yeah.
I gotta
Oh,
finish-
was it?
I got to
Yeah.
finish up my contract and
Yeah.
get out of here.
Oh, that's what it felt like.
So she
She wasn't. As
And I'm sure the makeup is a pain in the ass, but
Yeah, she
we
wasn't-
love Mystique. She's one of the greatest female characters of all time. So
I'm going to say that was the worst one. I thought it was a bummer. I thought it was.
Yeah.
It just left me feeling like, what the fuck did I just waste? my
Yeah,
time?
there was a couple of good action sequences in there, seeing them utilize their powers together as a team. But
Yeah.
again, you don't love them, and you should be in love with the X-Men.
Second worst. You should be. But I wasn't. I was actually like,
second
I
worst.
left like, I want to go watch the Avengers. The Last Stand is my second worst. I mean, come on, man. I mean, you coming off of X2, which I'll talk about later.
Yeah,
And you go to that. And, there's things that behind the scenes where Bryan Singer did the first two movies.
Right.
He left to go do that huge
Was it
pilot.
Ratner?
Yeah, Brett Ratner took over from Rush Hour and stuff like that. But you could tell he wasn't really.
He didn't care.
He didn't know the source
He
material.
didn't care about it.
He didn't know the source material. He's
Yeah, and
just throwing mutants in there at a fucking.
They
Hey, there's
took
multiple
two
man.
stories and
what the
mixed them together that didn't need to be together. If you're going to focus on the Cure, focus on the Cure. Don't focus on the Dark Phoenix saga and the Cure at the same time. It was just like very muddled. I mean, I love Kelsey Grammer as Beast, believe it or not,
Oh, interesting.
but because I'm a Frasier fan and I just love the voice and the sound and whatever.
Okay.
But so I loved some moments with him, but overall, I was like,
Well, Ratner was just going for the bits. Also, like,
yeah.
you remember that was when like the internet was kind of. It was like 2006, I think, that movie. And it was
Juggernaut bitch?
Yeah, it was like that because that was going around the internet, and so
Yeah.
they just
I'm the
put it in there. It
Juggernaut,
was just
bitch.
stupid.
And I didn't like that Juggernaut. The Juggernaut to me, I like the Juggernaut of Deadpool.
yeah.
Vinny
yeah.
Jones.
Vinny Jones.
And also in these X-Men movies, nobody got it right but in Deadpool with Colossus.
That's
Colossus and Deadpool was money.
What a great character
I
he
wish I
is.
would have seen him and Hugh Jackman together in this fucking thing.
That actually found weird because at the end of the movie they're all at his house, and I'm like, aren't they talking?
Yeah. Well, I mean, does he not know
Like,
him?
aren't they having a conversation?
Does
They
he
know
know
each
a
other for
Colossus
years. Like
from
what?
another universe? But
Yeah.
yeah. So the Last Stand, I thought was.
I'm with you on that.
Not good. Not good at all.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what was your second worst?
Well, we said the Last Stand for me was after Apocalypse, right?
Oh, there you go. That's yours right there.
so yeah, and then we're up to the next one.
Let's go.
Okay, so
You tell me.
the next worst.
The next worst.
So here's the
we're
thing.
too
I
long
don't
already.
know how to differentiate between Origins Wolverine and the Wolverine.
I forgot
Now-
about that mother. I forgot about that mother.
So the Wolverine had moments in it that I ultimately liked because if you're a Wolverine fan, Wolverine in Japan makes you very excited.
Yeah.
Like you're very excited, but I think they did not nail Silver Samurai. and that was a big disappointment for me.
Oh yeah.
So, but then Wolverine Origin, even Hugh Jackman said that he didn't think that they captured the true essence of the character as well either. So I enjoyed moments from both of them because, as everybody knows, who doesn't love seeing Wolverine be Wolverine?
In that one, he felt extra tall to me. He's walking around like Clint Eastwood out there. I didn't like Wolverine
With
Origins.
the Japanese.
I liked Wolverine better than I liked Wolverine Origins. That's
right.
my third worst.
Right.
Not a fan. It's whoever thought of that, taking away Deadpool's mouth was, I'm sure they got fired.
Yeah.
Again, it had elements where it could have been a lot cooler than it was. And again, I just wasn't a fan.
Yeah, because the Wolverine Stryker, that whole story and that whole dynamic is really, okay, so I'm such a big X-Men fan because X-Men is really deep. It's a very, very deep comic book. It was meant to be deep. It came out around the time of the 1960s. It's supposed to be about diversity and all those type of things that like symbolize what it's like to be a mutant, to be different, blah, 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 right?
Yes.
So there, and then the Weapon X has so much to do with war and warfare and soldiers being used, in such a way. So I think a lot of that was lost. So I'm going to agree with you. I think Origins Wolverine is worse than the Wolverine.
The Wolverine wasn't bad. I didn't think it was a bad movie.
No, it wasn't bad. Wasn't great.
The fact that I never really rewatched it is a problem.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Same director of Logan, though.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
they nailed
interesting.
a lot of things, but the Silver Samurai just felt weak. I didn't really like even the design.
Isn't there a director's cut of that one also? I think that there's a James Mangold director's cut of that one, and I feel like it's better than
I
the
would watch
original
it
cut.
again.
I feel like
I
that's
would.
true. Maybe I made that up.
I just thought it was funny that the ninjas were really noticeable. Like they're totally in black on rooftops, but it's a sunny day, and they're just like, "Hey, we're ninja. You can see us, right? Like you can't see us." Like that.
They could have done that so much better. And I liked the Silver Samurai back in the comic, and it was
For sure, it's great.
It was just this was not him.
The story with Yukio, like that was his best friend, and she was a thief. Like I felt like, oh, there's so much more cool stuff they could have done with her. And I loved from the comics as well. That was his best friend. I think at one point in the comics, she helps raise his kid. Like they have such a richer, deeper backstory that I was a little disappointed with.
Didn't exactly nail it.
No.
And that's why that after the last X-Men Origins Wolverine, I go with the Wolverine as the next one in that order.
Okay.
Now, what are you up to? Are we up to the we just nailed 4 of them, right? Or
We nailed 4 or 5 of them.
Yes.
So
All right,
what's next after the Wolverine?
Next, after that, for me, I believe I thought the First Class was okay.
Yeah.
But I would put that next. Okay.
Same.
I would put that next. I did not. I thought this is the deal. I like Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender.
I like him as
Me
Magneto.
too. He's
I
great.
do.
And hot. Sorry.
And I like what do you call us, Professor X? And hot. You said that's right.
Yes, very hot.
And Professor X.
What you and
James McAvoy.
James McAvoy. Why do I
like it.
confuse Ewan McGregor and James
I can
McAvoy a
understand it. I
lot?
see
And that's
it.
not good.
I like them too. I like
Me
them
too.
too. But
They are great.
I don't like them as much as, and I know they're playing the younger version,
Yeah.
obviously, but and I'm going to be getting into it now soon. Is Patrick Stewart and
Ian McKellen.
McKellen.
Yeah.
The dialogue with those guys. We're gonna
Oh,
start
well,
getting into
they
that.
have this sense of like just class and intelligence and just
Yeah.
that sage sort of thing.
The First Class, I didn't hate it.
I didn't
But
hate it
I
either.
didn't love it.
But I thought the Hellfire Club could have been better also.
100%.
I'm in the minority here. That's one of my top ones.
Interesting. Interesting.
It's good. It is good.
Yeah. So I'd put that, and I like the other two more than that. Then I would put I liked a lot of that stuff that in Age of Apocalypse. I did.
You put Apocalypse over First Class?
Yes, I do like it. I do.
Wow.
like it
Yeah, I'm surprised by that.
I'm surprised by that too, but
Yeah.
I do enjoy it. I do. I enjoyed that opening scene. I just enjoy that. The things that I didn't like with Angel and stuff like that. It's not a character I was really like huge on, but I think they nailed that wrong. They threw a couple things in there that I could see that you had a problem with, but I enjoyed it. I did. I liked Apocalypse himself. I keep going back to that fucking opening scene, but goddamn, that was good.
No, it was cool. And again, I do think Fassbender is a great actor, and he didn't like his performance in that film though, which I was surprised about.
I like
in Apocalypse, he thought he was whining and yelling too much.
First Class, maybe because it was a downer with him getting shot in the back. I mean, listen, it's a very, you don't leave there. It's not a feel good movie, you know.
Well, X-Men has always been kind of on the serious side, where the jokes were less jokey than some of the other Marvel comics. I mean, you had good banter between like Wolverine and Kurt, or Nightcrawler, but there's serious subject matter in most of these films.
The best one out of those three, and is I liked the Days of Future Past. I thought Hugh Jackman was great in it. I liked the whole thing when that opening scene was money too. You know. Again, they don't get Colossus too great. He was better than the other ones, but it's still, it's not my guy, you know?
Yeah.
It's a jock that just turns into the thing. He's not even like, you know. But it had such cool shit with the Sentinels. And there was a lot of cool
Sentinels
fight
were
scenes.
really well done.
You got either Warpath or his brother. Was that Warpath?
Warpath.
Yeah. You know what's fucking crazy? This morning, what I did today, I did my 7 a.m. class at Sarah BJJ. And then I had this Toronto film crew come in. They're doing a thing called Dark Side of the Cage.
Okay,
right?
cool. Yeah,
it's on.
It's like what they do with wrestling.
Yes, yeah.
But for MMA,
the Dark Side of the Cage.
Wow.
Yeah. About MMA.
That's
Is that fight?
amazing.
So today, I talked about 2 topics. I talked about War Machine.
Okay. That was crazy.
I was the coach for War Machine, and he's in jail now until he's in his 70s because he beat up his porn star girlfriend. And I was a coach for him on season 6 of The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
So we talked about that. And then we talked about Matt Hughes. So about that guy. So that was interesting. So I did right from there to here. So that was my day. But back
No, that's interesting with War Machine and
that thing's coming out. But so anyway, back to where we're at. So War Machine, Warpath. I liked Warpath. Days of Future Past. I like when he went back in time. I like the 70s feel, 73. And the lava lamps, he's getting shot.
Yeah.
The bone claws come out. He's looking, what the fuck? It worked for me. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And that was my favorite out of those new 3.
I would say that one is maybe my number 1. Days of Futures Past is maybe my number 1. I almost felt like it was an apology to me when I saw it. I was like, hey, this is all this. We screwed this up. This is better. This is better. You'll like these guys better. So I did really appreciate that, and seeing the team together and like how they work together and how they work together with their powers is like one of the best thing about the X-Men. So I would say it would be my number 1.
I mean, you just went right to the top, right?
Yeah, that was for me.
I called it out.
But we still have 2 more movies to talk about.
We do. Okay, so I got to those. All right. Now wait, did I get to my number 3 already? I said, yeah, I did. I think I did. Okay. So now our top 2 we're up to. I believe.
Yeah.
All right. I'll talk about X2 is my favorite. And I'll tell you why in a second. But X1, now let's talk about X-Men.
Okay.
You got to talk about when it came out. Okay. If people
So
find
is it 2001? I'm going to look it up.
Find this, it's 2000.
2000.
So this was as a kid, I never thought I'd see X-Men on the screen, on the big screen. You know what I mean? I was amazed with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I thought that was phenomenal. I was like, man, they could do this. And back when they did Batman, but how could they do X-Men right? How could they do that? And to Bryan Singer's credit, and now they did away with this, but I don't know if you know about this, and I don't know if you know either, Christian. They shot it purposely, different shots to make Hugh Jackman look smaller. If you look at that film, they did it purposely. They did different, and then Hugh Jackman even said in an interview, he goes, in the beginning they shot, he goes, then they just did away with it. They said, but early on they did it.
Because they thought we would really get upset about it.
Now, if you look at it now with he was being true to the source material. But if you look at it now, you might see some of the special effects not the best or whatever. But the story, the interactions, the very first interaction with Magneto and Charles Xavier, with Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, it was fantastic. They had their chance, Charles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's all turned out something like that.
Yeah.
But it was fucking great.
They were Shakespearean in their approach to Magneto and Professor X, which is like loosely based off of how Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. would handle this situation of diversity during that time. Because remember, like, X-Men was born out of the 60s. So to see these two very powerful figures with these two very different, unique, and strong points of view, and then opening with the whole Holocaust thing and why Magneto is the way he is, like, you gave him such a distinct, strong character. And then I know they do it again in First Class. They show deeper with the Holocaust thing.
They did a good thing with that. I mean, they good thing with that. They did a good thing with the Holocaust. They did it on that. They're gonna clip that up. They captured his origins very well.
Very, very well. And they made them have such great, strong points of view. I mean, I think I was a little disappointed again by like Cyclops just being this, for like an old school term, like being some herb. Remember we used to say that in the 80s, 90s?
I wasn't too upset with
James Marsden, but it wasn't his fault.
No, in the first X-Men, what they did him dirty in the third one. They just got him out of that.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
they did. Like
really?
they didn't even show him die. There's sort of glasses floating.
Yeah,
like what the
she's kissing him, and all of a sudden he's dead.
Glasses float.
I mean, come on, man. They left such hope at the end of X2.
Yeah.
So X-Men, the way they shot it, the interactions when you meet Wolverine,
Yeah.
when he's just blocking that fist with his
Oh
head.
yeah, he's
The way he shot that was amazing. Even when he took away the shotgun, when he's calling him a mutie freak, the bartender, and it was shot so well. And it's the first time you've seen these claws come out, and this is on the big screen. So for me, in my 20s, when I'm watching that, never thinking you're going to see that as a kid who grew up on the
Right.
X-Men, I thought it was a great.
Yeah, you geeked out for
movie.
sure.
Yeah, it was if they did it, and they ended up, and to their credit, like we just said about Deadpool and Wolverine, they got the mask right now. I don't think they could have done it back then. It would have been hokey back then.
It would have been hokey
They went
back
more
then.
Matrix style.
Right.
It kind of fit the times.
The vibe for X-Men, right? Like, which is different than I think other comic books really of that genre. That was like a little different. Is that it's kind of a sci-fi genre. Where like you have some things like
What you talking about, Willis?
It's sci-fi where like Spidey is like action adventure. The X-Men is more like sci-fi because it deals with like mutations and like these special powers and time travel. Like it's more sci-fi. So it did have like a really cool kind of sci-fi feel to it. I the things I didn't like was I didn't really like Halle Berry's Storm. That was the stupidest line ever. Christian knows exactly what I'm talking
She
about.
did the Toad?
Yeah. She was like, you know what happens to a toad when it gets struck by lightning? What would you think she would say?
Yeah.
The dad joke. It croaks. That wasn't the joke. She goes, same thing that happens to everything else. And we're like, huh?
Oh, listen, she's not Jim Norton. I mean, give her a break. What are you looking
But
at?
if you're going to say a stupid ass joke,
What is
it
she?
makes
Yuck? She's trying to kill a fucking.
Just don't say the joke.
Guy's spitting acid. She got to take care of it. Now, listen, I'm with you on that. Listen, it's not. Is it a perfect movie? No, but at the time, I fucking enjoyed it.
Yeah,
so
for
that's
sure.
my number 2. Now let's get right to it. X-Men 2. I think they fucked around with the name before. It used to be X-Men United or some shit.
Wasn't it? I don't know. Yeah.
But let's just call it X-Men 2. I loved it. I thought it was phenomenal. Again, some of the special effects, even though they probably made Colossus look better even in that fucking thing. When he's wrong house bub and he's taking out the guys. I thought it was. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the opening sequence with Nightcrawler.
Oh, that's the best thing about that film for me.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. And then when they tracked him down, and I think they got him way more right than they did with the other. All of a sudden, he just pulled him out of a crate in fucking Age of Apocalypse. So, and then even little things. I liked Stryker in it.
Yeah.
When he just sees Wolverine in the tunnel when it wasn't really Wolverine, it was Mystique, and he's just like, shoot it. I know my own creation or some shit like that. I know my own whatever else.
Well, that was Rebecca Romaine Stamos then.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And she was great.
She was.
Yeah. Man. And again, the lines with Magneto when he was getting gassed in the thing. And when he had her when he had Rebecca Mystique go undercover into the bar, and she drugs the security guy, and puts more iron in his blood. And then all of a sudden, he's
so that's where you can pull the bullet out.
It was so cool. Then all of a sudden, he's using that to open up blast through the walls to get out of the plastic prison. And the ending, it left hope. And it was emotional. When she died, it wasn't like some of these other movies, like in the fucking Acolyte, when you meet a character, oh, what's going to be his story arc? Oh, he got his neck broke. Oh, that girl, that young Padawan, she's going to have a bright future. Maybe not. She got shanked by a fucking 2 second. Anyway, we'll get into that another day. But, this one, when she dies, and when Cyclops is like, no, I'm getting emotional. It was great. It was great. It brought out the feels. And then when you're thinking it's over, you're looking into that lake and, wait, what am I seeing? Oh, it stops.
Phoenix.
You got me. Done. Take it.
Yeah,
it was great.
It gave you all of the
great.
vibes from the comics that you love. That Nightcrawler sequence to me lives in my brain consistently because I feel like he's an underrated character. He's such a cool design, that sort of like gargoyle look or whatever. So they got that really right, and I appreciated just seeing what you would consider some of the original team together. That was cool. You saw Colossus actually go transform in that second film. So there's a lot of really cool things about it.
The fight scene with him and I'm saying Lady Deathstrike, but it's not Lady Deathstrike.
Lady Deathstrike was the first one, I believe, right?
No. X2 is what we're talking about.
X2 is Lady Deathstrike. Kelly Hugh, who's a good martial artist too.
Listen. First of all, she was scared. She kind of reminded you of the Terminator 2 guy,
Yeah.
Because she was a badass. She was scary. She was beating the shit.
Yeah, Lady Deathstrike
took out Cyclops before he could fuck. He didn't
Everybody takes out Cyclops. Even Toad took out Cyclops.
Yes,
poor Cyclops.
You're right. Poor Cyclops. You're right. No wonder why he left for the fucking. No way. He went to that Superman Returns. Bryan Singer's got to be kicking himself for that. He could have did X3. He did Superman Returns, which was a pile of shit.
Yeah, that really was powerful.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, we forgot about that one. Thank goodness.
So we've got your number one.
Yeah,
your number one.
What is your? I'm sorry.
No, I said it already. I said it already. Mine was Days of Futures Past.
That's a good number one.
Guess you know all about Logan, man.
Well, holy fuck!
I almost because that would be number one for me, right? But if we're talking about X-Men by themselves,
can I tell
or
you?
X-Men as a team,
I would literally, for me, I would put probably now as far as the way the movie's made and how great a movie it is, it could easily be number one. For my personal, if I'm watching them, that'd probably be my third favorite.
What?
Yeah,
Logan's number 3.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Wait. What's 1, 2?
Would be
2 and then 1 and then Logan.
1, then Logan. For me personally.
Okay, I can see that.
A little too dark for you.
I like seeing.
It is sad.
I like seeing, and it ends like it's very depressing. Even with the family he comes across and the kid dying.
Oh, that was the worst.
So it's like I get the dark tone.
Yeah,
and I'm not. Listen, I used to fight in a cage for a living. I'm not a pussy.
Right.
But I like.
You want to go to a movie and be happy and have fun and like.
What's kind of nice about the Deadpool movie is you see that X2 girl grow. I got it might not be my dad, but I got another Wolverine dad here.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of a happy story for that. But but it was phenomenal. But hey, listen, I'm not griping about Logan. I thought it was phenomenal.
No, but my see own your point though.
Taste for that,
I see your point.
I'm an upbeat guy.
It's tough. Like I'm kind of with Christian because I almost don't consider it a part of the X-Men franchise, even though it clearly is, because it's him and Xavier and Laura Kinney or X-23 or whatever. But it's like kind of so stands so alone as like almost like a Western, X-Men Western.
Yeah, that's
where
why
the other X-Men are like sci-fi, and then. But so I get that. Then I would probably still say Days of Future Past, and then have Logan on its own.
That's why when we were talking about it and Christian brought it up, I almost feel like it's not even part of the franchise. It feels separate.
It is, but it does feel separate. Like it. Yes.
So.
But it is.
That's our picks.
It hurts. It does hurt that.
That's our list. Dude, we're hitting this fucking thing out of the park.
Yeah, I think so.
This is fun. Now look, this is the pilot episode.
It's a pilot.
We don't know where the fuck this thing is going. I'm thinking about in future episodes. Now we're putting this thing right away. So in the future there'll be graphics and this and that. But right now we're getting this raw. Okay, you understand?
I understand. I'm doing it. Yeah.
So you understand because you told me right before we got on that. So you're like, what are you talking about? Numbnuts? I just told you. Yeah, I told you exactly what the fuck you told me. So So in the future, I'm also thinking about putting in a little jujitsu for everybody. Because there's evil in the world, we know that. So I'm thinking about just putting a little jujitsu technique at the end of the.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? Throw that in.
Yeah.
And listen, any topics and stuff that anybody wants to cover, you can look at the camera too. It's fun. Hey, anything you guys are interested in, hit up Christian. I don't want to be. No, I'm only kidding. No, listen. My hope for this fucking thing, you know me a long time.
I do.
All right. My post-fight career is fun. I have a good time. You know, I got my wife, my 3 daughters. We live at my school. I'm at my jiu-jitsu school. The pandemic did a lot of things, right? And a lot of bad things. But now that we're through it, it did a lot of good things for me in my life. I had 2 schools. I lost one, which ended up being a good thing. I spend more of my time at the one beautiful school I have in Huntington, New York, that Christian's going to get his gi on Wednesday night. So I'm all the time there. The pandemic used to have to, and you know, because I see you there sometimes, I used to have to travel to the city for my UFC Unfiltered podcast with Jim Norton, available everywhere podcasts are. So I'm always plugging. I used to have to go to the city 2 days a week for that. And now, since that, they gave me a green screen. I do that shit right at my house. You know what I mean? So my life got a lot simpler.
Yeah.
And I'm able to do more. And it's just fucking fun. Start my day sweating, teaching jiu-jitsu, do my podcast. So now with this venture, I want to do I would honestly, can I be honest with everybody here? I want to get another revenue coming in, doing something else I fucking enjoy. I didn't become a champion to fucking swing a hammer now. I don't want to fucking get a real job. I just want to have some fun. All right, we having fun? Can we do it all in? I don't want to do it all in. It's fucking weird now. Christian's got his hands full. Hey, that's the episode.
You can, but the mic will drop.
Do me a favor. Look into the camera, plug where they can find you, because you're in Phoenix. I needed you here.
Yeah,
for this episode, I'm going to keep. I needed you here for this.
If this is what we do,
Phoenix,
Matt. This is what we do.
Okay, go ahead. Tell them where to find you, Phoenix.
Phoenix Carnaval on Instagram. Stuff happens. I do things. I act sometimes, and that's about it.
And you're going to be finding Phoenix on future episodes. She might be here every other week. I might be getting you out of Phoenix. You might have to get an apartment in Long Island. You're going to be
let's say we'll talk to Al about it.
We're going to have a good time. And listen, geeking out. We're going to be geeking about, like, this was a perfect episode. X-Men. We talked a little bit about comic series. There's shit I want to talk about. You ever hear about the Mutant Massacre? I'm not even going to get into it now, but trust me.
Okay.
It's fucking crazy. They had fucking Angel in the fucking tunnels, and he had him. Yeah, he's speared up by his fucking wings. Anyway,
where do you put X-Men '97 in this whole foray? I know it's TV, but
the cartoon.
Yeah, I mean, did you watch it?
I mean, I saw 1 or 2 episodes, and I just love it. It gives me that old feel, and yeah.
Now, this is the thing. There was people that were talking about this show, right? Now, I wasn't into the other X-Men series that everybody loved. And I know it was good. I heard it was good.
The cartoon?
There's something about the animation, something I didn't like about it. You know why?
I'll tell you what it is.
They did that X-Men, the first one, when they gave Wolverine an Australian accent.
Oh, yeah.
But that animation in that was so much better.
I was going to say the voices, because like Jean and Scott are so annoying.
That's funny.
Scott, Jean. Why do you have to say each other's names every other second?
From what I heard...
That would drive me nuts.
That's funny. Sorry. Do I have a cough button? That ship sailed. I'm sorry. For the original series, I heard the storylines were great, but I didn't really get into it. I watched X-Men '97. They did. I loved it.
Good.
I fucking loved it. I was shocked.
Very good.
I heard mixed things about it. And I was like, what are you talking about, man?
Yep.
Because if there was a lot of woke shit and this and that, I'd be like, yo, come on, man.
But the X-Men, that's the whole thing.
X-Men were woke before woke.
Yeah.
Hey, but they don't force
But it
feed
wasn't forced
It's
woke.
all about
Yeah.
accepting people.
It's
for
kind
their
of like how
disformities or whatever they have a problem
A
with.
League of Their Own is a very women's empowered movie, but you don't watch it feeling like that.
Yeah.
Like guys don't watch that movie feeling like they're being crapped on, but like just a really powerful film for women.
Oh,
I think like, and I'm of course very pro woman, but I think a lot of these things there's like we're pitting us against them. Like this is a woke film, and if you don't like it, you're not woke. And sometimes it's like, no, I get the point you're trying to make. The just story sucks. So like a lot of these things that it's like we say woke sometimes like it's going to be bad, but it's like sometimes it's like you're just trying so hard to tell a story that it's a disingenuous story, where like a good story about good characters that has a real point, it could be woke without being trying too hard.
I feel like when I'm watching a movie and this shit pumps up, you know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like I'm watching. You ever see great movie, Don't be a menace while sipping your juice.
Sipping your juice while drinking your juice in the hood. Message.
I feel like Keenan Ivan Williams is message.
Yeah.
They're just popping out saying. So it's like, yo, man, like I'm watching the Harley Quinn movie, and all of a sudden, this and that, and I voted for Bernie. And did you really vote for Bernie,
Yeah,
or did the director vote for fucking Bernie? I don't give a fuck about the director.
Right.
I don't give a shit. Directors, they Aculite, take notice. Who did that one?
It's if it's story.
What's her name?
I don't know. I don't know her name. I don't know her name.
She was all keep her away from anything with a spaceship. Okay? But anyway, listen, we're gonna keep going.
There's just don't be disingenuous, because that reads as woke for the sake of being woke, as opposed to like a really smart, because that's what the X-Men were. Remember that great scene where it's kind of like an analogy for being gay, where Bobby Iceman comes out to his parents. I think that's X2, right?
And you're saying the mother at the table goes, "Did you ever try
not being a mutant?" Right? It's very woke per se, but it's just a good story. And it doesn't feel like it's battering us in the head with something that we already are cool about, you know? I mean, I'm sure not everyone is, but in a lot of ways, I find that when you force things, they don't touch us because it feels forced.
Listen, at the core of the X-Men, what they were about,
right?
They were outcasts, they were misfits, and it's about acceptance. Okay?
100%.
That's what it's about. Listen, Matt Serra, BJJ on Instagram. Okay, that's it. We'll be back. Future episodes. We're gonna have a fucking good time. We're out of here.
Let's go get some pizza.
Oh, fucking Pizza Supreme. Did you ever go to Pizza Supreme?
No.
It's fucking delicious.
It's a great ending. It's a great ending.
Give me some. Thank you.
That was a great ending.